What's going on, everybody? We are live. NSPN NexGen Sports analyst and writer Alex Fleming and John Shear of Sideline Sports from the NFL Hall of Fame. Alex, tell us what you think about what's going on there, man. This is the first time a lot of that stuff's being seen. Give us your thoughts on what's happening and what you think of this week's game.
First and foremost, I want to say thank you to Sideline Sports, John Shear, for making this possible, because we're here at the Hall of Fame and we're both registered media, and everybody's going to be here watching the game because the game sold out. And if you can read behind me, it started with only 14 teams in 1920. The story of football is about us all, where the owners respond to where there was ignorance and prejudice and where people couldn't, and owners' diversity. Now, this is Pittsburgh versus Dallas, but you have to understand the story of football has more layers to it. Like the Rooney Rule has layers to it. Or better yet, for those who don't know, the stories of how the owners came together to make not only a salary cap, but provisions. And then how a 10 charter team went to 15, then 20, to the 32 teams that we have today. Or maybe some of the knowledge that you didn't know about Pat Bowlen and his winning record, or about Ed DeBartolo and building a winning tradition for the San Francisco 49ers. Guys, an original football ticket would cost you up to 35 cents. Try getting a football ticket to the Super Bowl for less than 5 G's. This is a brand new segmented hallway in the Hall of Fame. New hallway. This is fresh. Like we're number one.
Number one. First people in here.
Can you say that again so you can remind the people?
First people ever in here.
So maybe we can let you know about some of the history and the styles of the game, from the birth of the Rooney Rule to the first female NFL game official, to how the McCaskies saved the Green Bay Packers and started a winning tradition, and is actually the first to make it so that way we have the London Games, 1986. Or how Jerry Jones turned around a franchise that was miserable and now all of a sudden is worth billions. John, speak on it.
Yeah, you got Jerry Jones, Michael McCaskey. McCaskey did a lot with the NFL. You got a page dedicated to NFL stadiums, how that changed the face of the NFL, how it went from being just outside to trying to go inside in domes, and they tried to offer that to other people, and those people didn't quite take them up on that.
From the Sandlot to dome palaces, people don't seem to understand that there was no such thing as like domes and matriarchs like you have in Minnesota right now. They were playing on grass and wet fields. In 1993, Joe Carr had a vision about how the future of football was going to be played, and he was absolutely right. His quote, not mine, his quote: "If they only knew of how near our football league is to moving indoors and what a smashing success we are going to make of the pro game undercover, they would not hesitate for a moment to spend the additional money needed to size the building up to the requirements of the game. Have you seen the stadium in Minnesota? Prince would be proud. That's a multi-billion-dollar stadium." And this is just a piece of the history that you can see at the Hall of Fame in Canton, if you were here. But let's not forget about Lamar Hunt, owner and AFL finder, or Art Rooney, the chief, the reason why the game is the way it is today. Art Modell, recognizing pro football's entertainment value, or better yet, George Preston Marshall. Although he might have been a racist, he was a master showman. In 1932, George Preston Marshall was granted an NFL franchise for Boston. After winning the NFL title in 1936, he moved his team to Washington, D.C., flamboyant, controversial, and a master showman. Marshall sponsored progressive rule changes, convinced his fellow owners to reorganize the two divisions with the postseason championship game, and pioneered gala halftime shows. So you can even find light in some darkness. George Preston Marshall has a very tagged history, but without him, would we have the Washington? You almost caught me there. League stability in 1941. Bidwell believed in NFL's future in 1933. A Chicago loyal and minority owner of the Chicago Bears purchased the Chicago Cardinals franchise from Dr. David Jones for $50,000. That franchise is now the Arizona Cardinals. Guess how much they are worth today? All of this is a brand new exhibit that you're going to be able to see if you were able to visit the Hall of Fame. But since you're not here, thank God for ESPN and John Shear of Sideline Sports, so we can give you some of this information to you. Eric, if you're still there, if you have any questions, let me know, because they're trying to kick us out of here. We've been here too long.
Well, hey, let me tell you, you're doing a great job. Like you said, you're the first people in the hall.
Sorry,
so,
I can't hear you.
Are you able to hear me now? So, Alex, can you hear me? So, yep, you're making history. You're the first people in that hall. You guys are doing a great job. It's an amazing deal. Let me ask you, who do you think is going to win this game, Alex? Who do you have between the Cowboys and the Steelers?
Ladies and gentlemen, Sideline Sports own John Shear, Alex Fleming, NSPN, Florida Sun. Stay tuned.